Hey everybody, I am Kevin Iole. Thank you for joining me on Saturday. UFC goes to Louisville, Kentucky at the the Yum Center, and then
Yep.
I have the main event fighter right here, Jared Cannonier. He will be fighting Nassourdine Imavov. How are you, Jared? Seems like there's kind of a log jam up at the top of your division these days.
Yeah, there is. There's too many of us vying for the title right now at the top. So it has been quite the log jam, especially with considering the fact that the title hasn't been rescheduled to be defended as of yet. I think everybody's waiting for. I don't know what they're waiting for. The talk is that Israel and Duplessis are going to fight in Perth. So we're waiting to see what happens with that, which is very unfortunate because I feel Duplessis could have defended his title by now, right?
Yeah.
And then fight in Perth is in August, right? Is that fight in August?
I think it was October, isn't it? But I can't. I'm not exactly certain of that. But I know he said he couldn't fight at US, and we're talking about the middleweight champ Dricus du Plessis. He said he couldn't fight in UFC 300 because his health he wasn't cleared yet from his fight with Sean Strickland. So,
well, we're all waiting to see what happens with the title and the next couple of fights. Sean just won last week, impressively, dominantly, and I'm fighting this weekend. And of course, Khamzat and Robert Whitaker are going to be fighting at the end of the month. And I think when that fight got scheduled, Dana said that one's going to be for the next title shot. So, yeah. So we're it's like it's hard to. Well, anyway, I know what I'm fighting for, but it's hard to see what's going to happen with this whole title picture in the next year or so.
Let me throw this at you because you came off a really impressive win over Marvin Vettori, which followed an impressive win over Sean Strickland. So two really strong wins back to back for you, and you injure your knee. And you probably injured your knee at the worst time given what was going on in the division. When you were out and you're rehabbing, how difficult was it not to, force yourself back too soon and to make sure that you got healthy and not take a fight before you were 100% ready?
I wouldn't say it was too hard. I'm very smart with how I do this thing. I'm not throwing myself into the fire when I'm not ready. And I have a good team behind me. I have a good team at Ares Physical Therapy that were helping me recover from this injury, who I've been working with for years at the same time. Their knowledge and experience in injury and dealing with injuries and stuff, knowing what needs to be done to come back from this and be 100% healthy, ready to compete at this level, has been very integral in my decision making. So that's what it was. I got good people, good guidance in my career from them, as well as my team at the MMA lab. So just put it all in their hands, put it in their hands for the most part, and just handle my business. Get ready, try to stay fit, so I can get back into training and start training for these guys at the highest level.
How did you injure the knee, Jared? And how long was it before you felt confident that, hey, I can do everything I did before?
Well, a little backstory. I guess I'll give it to you too. I've said the story plenty of times today, but I guess I'll give it to you too. The day of the injury, I was pulling into practice, and I get a call from my manager. They're offering me to fight Khamzat in Abu Dhabi because he was originally scheduled to fight Paulo Costa, and Costa wasn't going to be able to make it to the fight. So they gave me the opportunity to come in, and I accepted it right off the cuff, but I had to go in and confer with my team and complete practice. And in practice, I tore my MCL. I got hit with a mat return, and my hip and my leg hit the ground at the same time. And the impact, the pressure, the tension went right into the MCL. You know what I mean? So the MCL tore grade 2, requiring surgery to fix. So I had to not accept the opportunity, which eventually went to Kamaru Usman, who put on a good performance in that fight, even though he lost. And I also had to pull out of the fight that I already had scheduled in December against Roman Dolidze. So it was a pretty significant injury that I couldn't, let go and fight with. So it was about 5-month recovery from that. I didn't get cleared until the end of March. Close to that time, they offered me to fight Paulo Costa in Brazil at the beginning of May, which would have been too soon. I hadn't been grappling. I hadn't been training all the things I needed to train to go to even accept the fight, let alone to accept that fight. So another opportunity against a high-level opponent that I had to miss out on.
Yeah.
And now I've been offered Nassourdine, and here we are. Naturally I wanted bigger opponents, better opponents. Even when they offered me Dolidze, I had, coming off of that last performance, I wanted contenders matches. You know what I'm saying? I was hoping to get that fight with Khamzat in Abu Dhabi, but they went with Paulo Costa instead, and then called me 10 days before the event to see if I wanted to do it, which is I was down to do it.
Yeah.
But fate happened, and things, bad luck or whatever you want to call it, happened, and wasn't able to make that fight either. So I'm essentially in the same position when I accepted the fight with Dolidze as I am when accepting this fight with
Imavov.
Nassourdine, because there's nobody else who was available or anything like that. So, but nonetheless, I'm still excited to get in there. I feel like he's a capable opponent. Not looking past him or anything like that, or saying he's not capable of doing anything. So, I'm ready to go in there and put on another world-beating. I don't know if it's going to be a record-breaking performance, because if he can last 241 strikes, then good on him. But the only records I'm looking to break is fastest knockout or fastest finish in the UFC middleweight division.
When you didn't mention the most important thing, you're getting a paycheck finally. So, after whatever it is, a little over a year. So you get that green put in the bank account after this one.
That's right, especially after being out for so long. So, yeah, that's another reason why I accepted the fight. I got to make some money. I got mouths to feed and bills to pay. So they don't stop just because I get injured. Rent still due, bills will still have to get paid, and all that good stuff. Taxes still got to get paid.
Their money, right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
So I want to ask you about your injury, like what your mindset is as you're recovering, and what it was like when you first started getting back into practice, because your body is your tools. That's how you make your living. When it is injured and compromised, what's the thought process? And are you one that's always confident? You mentioned before you believe in your team, or do you have to go through some practices and see how it feels and how it holds up before you kind of can, now let loose and do what you did previously?
No, again, I work with some of the best in the States, in the world. I think I have the best physical therapists and strength and conditioning programs on the planet. I haven't been through too many, so I don't have a big pool to make that decision. But I trust my teams, and I trust the work that we're putting in, and I show up. So I show up and I do the work, and as far as recovery comes, the work that I was doing physical therapy lets me know that my leg is ready to go in here and start training. And then I go into training and take it out for the test drive, if you will, and just get back into, not necessarily test driving, but just getting back into it, getting my legs and my body back into the mode of combat, mixed martial arts and stuff like that. So it didn't take much, because the work I was doing in physical therapy was keeping my body, every other part of my body. It's not like going to a clinic and having somebody rub my knee and then flex my leg and move my leg. No, we're doing the work. I've been working with Al at Aris Sports Medicine for years now, and I go there and do some of my strength and conditioning there. I do my strength and conditioning there as well as at the lab, and So it was just more time that I could spend there. Not only getting my leg healed, but also working on other things, upper body. There's other parts of my body that I use in combat sports. So we was working on everything else that we could until we can get more, full function out of this leg. So it's hardly been a beat miss. It's not like I took a bunch of time off and then went back into training. I had been training from the Vettori fight up until the injury. And then I got injured, had the surgery not long after that, maybe 2 weeks after the injury. And then I think maybe a week or 2 weeks after the surgery, we went back into physical therapy. And it wasn't just working on the leg. Okay, now let's lift this, let's pull that. Not lift this,
Right.
without putting strain on the leg. We were doing things that were allowing us to keep the body in shape, keep the body ready. Al's a smart man. He's got athletes. His children are collegiate level athletes. He's worked with Olympic level athletes. He's worked with other mixed martial artists, mixed martial arts champions in the UFC and stuff like that. So he knows what he's doing. He knows how to apply the work that we do in the gym to what I do in the Octagon and what I do on the mats. So like I said, I trust him, and I trust the team at the lab, Jared at the lab, who's going to get us ready for these long, drawn out fights. 5 rounds, he gets me ready for, and we all complement each other, So it's been more time to get better is all it's been. That's what this injury has done. As unfortunate as it was, we definitely use this time to get better in other aspects of what I do as a professional mixed martial artist.
I know you have to have confidence to have the kind of career that you've had, but coming off, your last 2 wins, beating the former champion, Strickland, and beating Cannonier. I know he wasn't the former champion when you beat him, but the former champion, and then beating Vettori. You beat a guy that held the belt, a guy that fought for the belt. So what does that do to your mindset? Like, Sorry, we lost Jared there for a quick second. But I was just saying, I was mentioning you fought Strickland, who would go on to win the championship after he fought you, then Vettori, who fought for the title. Does that reinforce your belief in yourself, the fact that you beat guys of that caliber? You beat a guy that went on to win the championship, and a guy who you beat the guy that beat you, right, Adesanya. So you got that kind of little triangle there. But does that reinforce your confidence, Jared, in yourself and your belief that you can eventually pull this off and have that belt around your waist one day?
Yes, I could definitely use it as tackling fuel, as I say, but I already had the belief. That's why I'm doing this in the first place. That's why I'm fighting the top guys in the division in the first place, to get to the belt. I know I have that ability. I know I have that capability. I know I have the drive. I've got the motivation to do all that. And yes, all that stuff shaping out does reinforce that for me as well. So yeah, but again, I don't put too much stock into what other people do. You know
Right.
what I mean? How they perform. It's all about me. I have to be the one to do the performances to make the thing happen. So good. There it is.
Okay. Last thing for you. Talking about the fight with Imavov, you had referenced before throwing, record number of strikes, right? So going against Imavov, I imagine that you're looking at this being a pretty strong offensive performance from your standpoint.
Absolutely. My goal is always to be better than the last time, continue to grow and progress myself as a mixed martial artist, and being a better fighter than I was previously. So that's exactly what I plan on doing. Ever since my Adesanya fight, my goal has been to increase my output, increase the pressure that I put on people. And, in my last performance, I broke a record in doing so. And I plan on being better than that. So if Nassourdine can last 5 rounds, if he can survive 5 rounds, then a testament to his chin, because I definitely plan on finding it.
It'll be interesting to see. That's one of the good guys in MMA, Jared Cannonier, on Saturday. As he mentioned, he'll be fighting Nassourdine Imavov in the main event of UFC Louisville. Jared, always good to see you. Always good talking to you. Best of luck, my friend.
Thank you, Kevin. Good talking with you too, brother.